Okay, let's get started.
All right.
Hey, this is Pamela Schneider. I'm the retail editor for Blue Book Services, and I have Greg Johnson here, our director of media development, and this is the Produce Reporter Week in Review. Greg, we did a lot of webinars this week.
It was a good week for webinars. The industry seems like every week is dropping a new bombshell that some events going virtual, but the virtual webinars are getting really good and interesting. And we keep finding that our audience is very interested in food box news, and the food box webinar this week cleared up some of the at least direction that they said that they were going to go. We had heard that USDA was going to have a different bid process and change the program a little bit for the September going forward.
Yeah.
And they clarified that this week. And the biggest thing is that all the boxes are going to have to be combo boxes. So no more just doing the produce part of it. Every box should be 30 to 40 pounds and have a third of it be fresh produce, a third of it dairy, and a third of it meat. And I have some calls out to some of the folks in the produce industry who I've talked with about their food box programs before this. And I'm interested to see what they say if they're interested in pursuing it going forward, because it is a bigger step. I can see the argument that these boxes will be better for consumers because it's so much more stuff and it's more realistic of how consumers actually eat, not just a box of produce.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you were a smaller produce company who got one of these bids and were kind of maxed out doing just produce, do you have the capacity to bring in dairy and meat into just a produce facility? I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, it's certainly more complicated to try to put together a program like that. And some of the things that they talked about in the webinar and in this round of food box proposals is also, not everyone's who already had one is going to get, there's going to be no extensions. You have to reapply, pretty much.
Correct. Yes, and no extensions.
It's also addressing some of the issues that I watched a YouTube video of the Senate Ag Committee talking about food boxes, and a lot of the senators had some questions about some of the ways. We all know that this program was put together incredibly fast, especially for how the government usually works. But there were some checks and balances that perhaps were, maybe we need to address this. If we're going into the round 3 of this, we got to know, do you already have this set up to work with agencies from food banks and nonprofits? Can they take your stuff? We heard testimony from a couple of food bank CEOs about some of these companies just showing up and dropping off a truckload of stuff that they didn't have the last mile delivery figured out.
That was addressed specifically on the webinar this week. They do not want companies to not have last mile figured out. And I think that's a good thing. That's an unfair burden to put on these feeding agencies, especially with this kind of volume.
Yeah. And so we're going to see this bid process is already open, or is it, and it's going to be rolling. It's not going to be everyone is awarded all at once. It's going to be a different process. Yeah.
Hillary Cole was the speaker from USDA, and she said it's open as of me speaking right now, and it's open indefinitely. And the only time we'll stop taking bids is when a region is fulfilled. So it's basically sooner is better, but you can wait if you want.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't take advantage of this program at first, and maybe you're thinking closer to the end of the bid program and you've got some capacity, there might be some opportunities to pick up some extra boxes in some areas that were underserved. So it sounds like they're evolving.
Definitely, they're addressing some of the problems. For instance, requiring a PACA license. So anyone who has to, if you're a dairy delivery company and you want to pick up the produce part of this, you better get your PACA license.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's all the changes are addressing the problems that they've listened to. And one of the things is they're asking for a lot more documentation about a company's plan, including subcontractors, references, who the nonprofit partners are up front, rather than having companies just kind of get the bid and then figure it out. I think that was a big problem with the first round.
All right. And, speaking of problems and solving problems, you watched another webinar this week about the future of salad bars. And I talked to Anna Marie Roerink from 210 Analytics about some of the data and some of the challenges for deli and salad bar. A lot of them are just closed, flat out closed right now. And they had a great panel of retailers talking about what they see as the future of salad bars. What did they have to say?
They did. Oh, collectively, they've all said salad bars are not coming back quickly, and when they do, if they do, they will definitely look different to what they looked like pre-pandemic. So, but I mean, most people said good news was, although salad bar sales were way down, all the overall grocery store and even category is making up the difference.
Yeah.
You can't do direct comparisons to some of the things that they're replacing salad bars with, such as higher concentration of packaged produce, salad kits from the Taylor Farms and Man Packings and those types of companies. It's not a direct comparison, although most people report those are up. Some of the solutions people said to where we're going to go in the future is retailers packaging more of their own salads in-house. And I think that could be a solution. I think almost everyone said consumers are either justified or paranoid in that they want things packaged and they're afraid of people touching their food. So there is going to be more sales and opportunities in packaged food, packaged fresh produce, even though the data says food is not a carrier for the virus and people cannot get it. And there's no evidence that anyone's gotten sick based on food. That's still the case from every health agency.
Yeah, it's still the case from every health agency, but I guess we're going to look at it from one of these, bright side equations where it's like, well, salad bars had some problems already that maybe they wanted to address, and this is their opportunity to overhaul the whole program. While it's shut down,
absolutely.
Take a look at it. Similarly, we had a hurricane here in Texas this past weekend. I don't know if anyone else saw the Hannah reports, but the Rio Grande Valley got hit pretty hard. We had some flooding down by the river, and I'm sure some citrus trees got blown over. And a lot of the time when that happens, citrus folks use that as, time to get a new variety. So it's a similar situation with salad bars. We're shut down. We're not making any money off of it. Let's take a look at what's the best way to reopen it.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the speakers, her name was Sarah Long from Albertson, said it's a huge opportunity for their company to invest in automation and robotics. So we'll see how big that gets. But I agree. I mean, that solves not only food safety issues, but labor issues.
Mm-hmm.
So if that, maybe now's the time to invest in that. I mean, that's what we saw with online grocery and all the delivery and with that side of the industry. I mean, now is the time to invest.
Oh, speaking of, I did the Sprouts quarterly report this week, and Sprouts, their e-commerce is up 500% in the second quarter of, I believe it ended at the end of June. And as of right now, e-commerce is now 12% of their business. And who would have thought a year ago that we would have seen something like that leapfrog so much? And e-commerce is not the only thing digital that is growing for them. They actually are looking at, and we're in the process of dumping their print ad in favor of digital. Their CEO, Jack Sinclair, says, the core customer that we're going after is more likely to go for a digital ad. And it doesn't matter what generation or what age they are. It's just the demographic of the customer that they're going to. And they used it as an opportunity when most retailers had their ads shut down, when we had massive supply issues during COVID-19. Sprouts was switching over to digital, and they've also found, digital ads are way more nimble. You don't have to print something up and have your ad locked in so far in advance that you can change something almost up to the day before the ad drops. If you've got a hot buy on, avocados or something like that, you can go ahead and work that into the ad if it's all digital. So I think we're going to see some more retailers go this direction.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sprouts is one of those stores that the the in-store experience is very high. So I'll be interested to see when things start to settle down, if that's still a key to their success.
Yeah, I think it'll be, for a lot of these retailers, some of them are just going to learn to live with more digital, and some of them are going to have to try to figure out how to get people back into the store. All right, that's it for the week in review. If you are not getting the Produce Reporter newsletter, you need to go to producebluebook.com and sign up. And Greg, you got soccer this weekend to watch? Yeah?
I got a team in the FA Cup final.
Oh, yeah. I got a jersey for that, too. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go Gunners.
Hopefully it works out better than the last time they met in a final.
Who they play again?
Chelsea again.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
Chelsea doesn't have Eden Hazard anymore.
No, but they have Olivier Giroud and Christian Pulisic. No,
I know. Chelsea's become my second favorite team.
Yeah, they do have an American who scores lots of goals.
He's the best American there is, so that's hard to root against him.
All right, see ya. I made some props.
Oh, I don't have any props today.
Having a nice cup of tea with my watermelon and watercress and egg salad sandwich. Watercress still up, 40%.
I had no idea any Americans eat those.
I don't think they do, but they should. Those are good. This is good. The watercress adds like a peppery punch.
You know, I was in the kitchen a second ago, and one kid was starting to make eggs. So it's tea time there.
Tea time. Yes. Look, I have matching Goodwill finds. We got a strawberry teacup and a strawberry tea plate with the gold rim around it.
That's very
Who would
impressive.
give up that china? If I was getting married right now, I would register for that.
Because everyone in our parents' generation had china, and no one in our generation has china, and no one in ours or below cares.
Yep. I do not care.
They can't give them away.
I have Fiesta ware that's like beaten up, but you can bang it on the countertop and whatever, and it goes in the dishwasher and we're fine. That stuff does not go in the dishwasher. If it doesn't go in the dishwasher, it does not belong in my house.
Yeah, that's right.